that is a religious concept of spiritual love in terms of caritas as represented in compassionate love as we see it biblically presented through the life of Christ. But I think then in our humanity, we first experience love amorously, and especially in our youth. And when we express love amorously, we all, I think, start right there at the foundation, which is physical, which is materialistic love, you know, amorous love. And then as it develops, I think we can see how it no longer focuses on the beauty, the outward beauty, but it becomes more and more, as beauty is fleeting, right? We begin to see that love, it's going to transform itself into the love that is represented in spiritual love, guiding us to, I think, sacrifice, and always wanting to sacrifice for the other rather than for oneself.
Yeah, I think we've been, joking about marriage and such, but it really is separate, isn't it, from marriage?
Yes.
It really almost has not. I don't know. Would you say it has nothing to do with?
In terms of courtly, chivalrous love, correct.
I mean, in fact, it usually is outside of marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. But the idea of this other person who can guide me to a...
See, even the Virgin Mary is not, Joseph is not...
Yeah, but excuse me a moment. The question that he raised, Guido Guinizelli, in the last poem that we didn't read the whole thing, okay? Translation here says, this is God speaking, okay? He says, he's talking to this person, the poet, that managed to go in front of God. It says, how did you get to me? And of course, the poet says, because of love, because the woman seems like an angel from your cohorts. But here God says, speaking to the poet, to pass the heavens and seek me, capitalized, even here, vain love pursuing with my image died, to me doth praise belong, and to the Queen of heaven, who from her sphere of glory and throne, who is the Queen of heaven, Mary. Okay, so here Guinizelli is explicit.
And also in the Divine Comedy, it's Beatrice who guides him, but then ultimately it's not the idea of marriage per se there, but it's just the idea of someone taking me to is going to help me to reach eternal salvation in terms of being a good human being. The supreme goodness is the ultimate focus of, right, Anna Chiara, would you say that this person is the ultimate focus of not so much in terms of marriage per se in the earthly form, way of institution.
This is the point. This is the point of the Scuola Siciliana and the Dolci Spinellisti. There is no reference to any real love or real woman. This is a pure intellectual, I would say, game. Okay, of these people, especially in the Scuola Siciliana, they were all diplomats and assistants in the court of Frederick II, and himself, the king, and the emperor, and his son, Rienzo, were poets. This was a pure intellectual practice. So all this angelicate form of a woman is a non-woman. The woman, we say, is on a pedestal. She doesn't even touch the ground. She's not There is no reference, even in the descriptions,
Well-
physical description of these. Sometimes you hear the lips or the
Yes.
eyes, but only because they are an instrument to say something else. There is never a physical description of love or these persons.
And when you
And
think
so-
of a man or a woman, you think of we are tainted, right? As human beings, we all have imperfections. So there's not one human being that does not have an imperfection. So whether we're talking about platonic love or amorous love or spiritual love, the idea of perfection is always there. So you have to have a model. You have to have something that allows you
Lifts
to
you up.
perhaps try to reach it. Like you have a goal. The goal is way up there. You may not obtain way, way up there, but you might reach the moon instead of the sun.
Well, what
And
I-
so it allows you to stretch yourself a little bit through this concept of an idealized, it's like a man and a woman when they get married, you know, you first start, you're falling in love, you have this idealized view of this person, right? And as you get to know them, both of them, be it the man or the woman, both have imperfections. But it is through that bridge that if we both, you know, to God, if I aim for God to be in His image and likeness, and I try through virtue to perfect myself, I can then perhaps perfect Him and He can perfect me. So that to me the idea is that there's a role model there. It's idealistic. It's not going to be fully attainable because I'm human. I have all sorts of imperfections. We fall down, we get up. We fall down, we get up. But it at least has it allows me to perhaps have you know, give me at least some hope in order to manifest the beauty of what love should be.